overall during his time in opposition. For more on this, I spoke to One Nation Senator Peter Georgiou earlier. Of course, One Nation has said they won't be supporting these tax cuts, that is extending it beyond $50 million. It's been a bit of an in-out situation for Pauline Hanson whether she would support it. So what's the latest? Here he was. Peter Georgiou, thanks for your time. Now, we've just had Matthias Cormann announce he won't put the company tax cuts to a vote again. He'll wait for the by-elections and essentially see if there's a stronger mandate then. Will you take your cue from the results of the by-elections and listen to voters?
No, I think we're on the record. We've made a strong stance where we won't be voting in favour of the corporate tax cuts. We don't agree with it. We've had a good hard look at it and looked at other models in other countries, and basically what the government's saying, we don't believe the trickle-down effect where we'll increase wages. We think it would just be used to pay down debt and benefit their shareholders. Interesting poll today, actually, not one of the real ones, but an opinion poll in the Courier Mail suggesting One Nation voters in Longman, 67% are in favour of these company tax cuts, more than Liberal voters. Yeah, I saw that yesterday. I don't know how accurate that is, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what the real numbers are. So just to clarify on this, because I was looking at something earlier this week that Pauline Hanson said there was no deal 7:30 a.m. or left it open 7:30 a.m. Monday, then it was no deal Tuesday, open Wednesday, no deal Thursday. Right now, is the negotiation door open at all if there's a coal-fired power station and multinationals, or is it just done, not considering it? Well, she actually didn't leave the door open. You know, it's been a no from us for a while now. You know, we've raised our concerns about multinationals not paying their fair share of tax in this country. We've asked the government to plug the holes in the taxation system, which allows them not to pay their fair share. We've also raised our concerns about our petroleum resource red tax, our generous offer to multinationals where they don't pay any tax at all. Our gas, which is sold overseas for basically nothing, and not benefiting anyone in WA or even Australia with our gas. We've asked the government to have a close look at these issues that we think could bring in billions and billions of dollars every year to offset these tax cuts. But you know, the government's not interested. The government isn't interested in bringing in money. That remains what you'd like, and because they're not interested, that's why it's closed. So if they came back to you and said, "Well, look at all these things," you'd reopen it. Is that sort of where we'll have a look at it. Yes. Yep. Right. I want to ask about as well GST. Your pitch to voters in WA is a fair share of the GST. We've got a picture we're going to put up as well of you in a gladiator type costume, I suppose. I assume it's all real and you've got a lot of time to go to the gym. Yeah, I'd like to thank the parliamentary gym for that. What does a fair share of the GST mean exactly, though? Well, look, at the moment we're getting 34 cents in the dollar. You know, we've been subsidising the rest of the country. Yeah, everyone's getting more than us. It's never been this low before in any other state in the country. 34 cents a dollar, we seem to think. Well, next financial year is 47 cents. Yeah, 47. That's still 47 cents. You know, there's Northern Territory is going for $4.88. You know, over $1. Other states are getting heaps more than what we are getting. You know, we just want a fair share. But what's across the board? There? Does that mean $1? Well, I don't know. What the figure is. I think the fair share is maybe looking at the equalisation. You know, what's used to divide to make these figures. You know, across the whole board. To have a look at the whole system across the whole board. The formula that does it. So the government's looking at this in the Productivity Commission at the moment. Are you going to wait to see what comes out of that? Of course we are. Yeah, we're very eager to find out what's coming out of this Productivity Commission report, and I've called on the government in the Senate to bring it out, to bring it forward, so we can have a look at it. Unfortunately, none of my WA state other senators supported me on that motion that I raised the other day in Parliament, which is very, very concerning for me because they're not standing up for West Australians. And on this fair share again, so we'll wait and see what this report is. But what does that specifically mean? And 47 cents is not fair. Is 80 cents fair? Well, there should be some. I think my personal opinion is, and the submission I put into the Productivity Commission was to have some sort of ceiling where no state can... A floor or a floor price or a ceiling price, like 80 cents, 85 cents, 90 cents, I don't know what exact figure that would be, where no state in Australia can fall below that amount. But if you're going to sort of set what's fair, you've got to figure out what that is going to be, don't you? Well, that's right, and that's why we're asking for the Productivity Commission's report to come out to see what type of fairness they've come up with for everyone. So you'll take a figure to the election on what you would set, regardless of what the Productivity Commission says. You'll take a figure and set that as a floor, and you'll take that to the election as a pledge, will you? Well, it's not up to me. It's up to the government. We're just the crossbench. You know, we don't.
No, but you're having an opinion on this. I mean, the government might come out and say, well, we'll set a floor at 60 cents. You might say it needs to be higher, for example, right?
Well, I think from speaking with the Chamber of Commerce in WA, we seem to think somewhere around the 80, 85 cents floor should be appropriate.
And that might mean Queensland gets a bit less, and so be it?
Well, look, you know, it's like in 5 years' time, Queensland might be in the position that we're in at the moment, the WA is at the moment, or New South Wales or Victoria. You know, we don't want any other state to be affected like we have at the moment, and you know, it's such a low percentage of for GST.
A couple of other issues. You've mentioned recently someone approached you from the government to join. Who was it?
Look, I don't want to go into that. You know, I don't want to go into that. There's a few rumours going around that certain people were inquiring about, you know, joining their parties. I don't really want to go into that.
It wasn't the negotiator-in-chief, Matthias Cormann?
No.
It wasn't him?
No.
And did it upset Pauline Hanson that these people were approaching? Does it upset the negotiations? She's trying to work with the government. They're trying to poach you.
Look, it wasn't poaching. It was an inquiry. Let's just leave it at that.
And you're not considering it at all?
No, not at all. I'm a One Nation Senator. I'm a One Nation Senator representing Western Australia.
Yeah.
And I'll be a One Nation Senator leading to the next election.
So you guarantee you'll go under the One Nation banner for the next election?
100%.
Just finally, migration levels. Pauline Hanson is talking today about maybe needing some sort of plebiscite on migration levels. What level of immigration or what population is sustainable would be the question. Isn't the issue here, you could get 100 different answers on that, couldn't you?
Or maybe 200 different answers on that, yeah. Look, you know, we've been discussing this for a while, and not only that, I think most of the people in Australia have been discussing this topic, even including the government, that we must cut down our immigration levels. You know, I think we all think they're a bit too high at the moment, and this needs to be looked at by the Minister.
All right, the bells are ringing, so we'll let you go and cast your vote. Peter Georgiou, thanks for your time today.